Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. So, if you are one of those who are thinking that Labour Party is enmeshed in these internal quagmire, leading to some of the legal issues that we have seen, well, wait until you hear the APC, the All Progressives Congress, which a lot of people think that they are playing an own goal in a game that they should naturally be able to meander, effectively considering the experience of those players and the stakeholders that are involved. The zoning of the National Assembly leadership and the 10th National Assembly is causing a lot of internal worries for the APC, and there are possibilities of the agitations leading to some resentment and perhaps those who feel that this could lead to some kind of members who are disenchanted working against the APC on the floor. It is a battle in the hallowed chambers, and thus it needs a very careful approach. Tonight, let's get some perspective from official perspective from the National Working Committee of the APC. Mr. Felix Moka is the National Publicity Secretary of the APC. He joins us live here on the program. Thank you so much, Felix, for joining us tonight.
Thanks, as always.
You were here. You told me that the position of the stakeholders and your party was that the party has zoned the way it wants to be zoned. Akpabio, Senate President, Barao Jibring, the Deputy Senate President, Tajuddin Abbas, Speaker, Ben Kalu as the Deputy Speaker. That is the position of the party. It was intriguing, however, that Senator Osita says, look, he's being, and look, give it to him, he's one of the founder leaders of the APC. He says that is not the right way to do things. As far as he's concerned, whatever that you guys have done and you made an announcement of is null and void. It does not hold water.
Senator Izunaso is senior member of our party. He's a elected senator of the Federal Republic. I listened to that interview and I was taken aback, quite frankly. I didn't expect someone in his status and standing to say some of the things he said. Not I mean, he has a right to speak and to say his views, but to push back against what was a stated position of the party was a bit unexpected. I was surprised by that. Because as someone in his capacity, he has full access to everyone in the party. If he needed to be sure, all it took was a phone call or a visit with the party, as some of his colleagues have done, to actually learn more about that. And I listened to him. He put a lot of stress on some of the language of the statement, which I gave, making that announcement. For example, he kept talking about this further and better consultation. And, when I listened, I was smiling because, he simply picked words out of the statement without reading it down to the end of the statement.
So let's clarify.
Yeah, just to clarify.
Does that position of the party make it an official position?
It is the official position of the party.
Usually, yes, in an official position of the party, which sometimes becomes a policy decision of the party, where is the final stop? Which organ of the party gives is a final authority?
The NWC has full authority to both engage in that, or to coordinate the consultation and to make the announcement, which it did. It's well within the authority of the National Working Committee.
So I'm talking about a policy decision of the party. Can the zoning of the National Assembly be seen as a policy decision of the APC?
It depends on what you call a policy decision. The National Working Committee of the party
has... That's what Senator Osita has described. No, he says that kind of decision is a policy decision of the party.
No, the NWC is well within its authority to make decisions on zoning arrangement for the party. Now, he talks about NEC and talks about, the caucus. This is not a matter for NEC. I mean, if you know how NEC is convened, you don't convene NEC the way you convene the NWC meetings. You require statutory periods of notice, which even the period we're dealing with,
21 days,
does not permit.
That you have to give a notice of about 21
That's right.
days
before the NEC is convened. For the NEC to be convened. And it requires the presence and the consent of critical.
So his argument is that before you can come around with this kind of position, the NEC needs to ratify. That is what the position of the party is, according to him.
No, that is his own understanding of the position. That is not the position of the party or even of our constitution. What is zoning, by the way? You know, when I came here, I actually used the word recommendation advisedly. And that is because at the end of the day, even though we as a party, you know, have interests and have even the duty to also look at the big picture and, you know, do zoning in a way that promotes, you know, national unity, you know, national cohesion, we are also keenly aware that the decision as to who emerges, you know, presiding officers of the National Assembly, it's done on the floor of the National Assembly by those who elected, who vote to elect the members. But we are the party on our side, and we have every right to recommend to our members who have been elected, who have that right to vote as the party has recommended. That's what zoning is about. So zoning is not, you know, from listening to him, it's as though the distinguished senator was actually expecting the party to cast, you know, language in iron and deliver, for it to then rise to that level that he would say, okay, this is a decision. You know, but if you read the statement down, which I think, just to be clear, I'd like to read the paragraph. You know,
yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
So that those who listen to him will also get you know, a better perspective. It says the NWC noted, with respect, the outcome of the meetings held between the president-elect and the leadership of the NWC. The NWC called for further and better consultation with necessary stakeholders in order to assure support of the aspirants to aspirants to the National Assembly leadership and members of the party nationwide. Meaning, further and better consultation so that we can get all of the other aspirants, and for that matter, all of the party members nationwide, to support the position we're taking. That was, but he simply was picking.
Why is it? Okay, so let's look at how your party went about it. Because as the leader of the party, Osita Izunasor is saying, look, the party decision was faulty. And how you came about that decision was also faulty. How then do you make a decision right there without an hoping that you will now get support when you have failed in making consultations, far-reaching consultations?
No, that's not the way it works.
Did you make consultations?
Yes, we did. I mean, the statement itself made that clear. And indeed, we consulted with leaders and, you know, a wide spectrum.
So when you say stakeholders, so for example, and I make it this as simple as possible. So, I mean, let's assume Mr. Felix Smoker has 2 wives and has 14 children, and you consult with 1 wife and 3 of your children. Would you say you have made far-reaching and wide consultation?
No, we're not going to go into the...
No, I'm asking. No, because we need to, for the sake of equity and also for clarity. Would you say the consultation your party made before getting to that position was clear and equitable enough?
Shewon, yes, it was. See, look, we're not going to go into any conversation about data or statistics or numbers or even a list of those who were consulted. But the point here is that consultation is an unfinished business. It's necessarily infinite.
You said you consulted with the president-elect and the vice president-elect
and other leaders of the
party. So the question is that you are shaving the heads of those who are in the game without their consent. They went and they were obviously very visibly angry with you. The stakeholders came, the members of the National Assembly, those who are contending in the race came and said they were never consulted.
Yes, some of them have
said that. Is that fair?
General, some of them have said that. Some of them have come to the NWC to make their point, and we threw our doors open for them to come in.
Does it make sense for you to have gone ahead without consulting them in the first place?
No, Shewon. Consultation is ongoing.
Mr. Moka.
It's ongoing.
Don't let us be political in this game. Is it okay to have not consulted them before you made that decision?
Sure.
These are the guys that are going. This is an election that you will not be part of. The national chairman will not be part of it. The president-elect will not be part of it. The vice president-elect will not be part of it. The people that will go and elect and represent your party, you did not consult them before you decide.
No, Shehu, listen.
Did you consult them?
Let me make this very clear.
Did you consult them, Mr. Moka?
Shehu, you see, when you ask the question, you're asking a categorical question.
Yeah, because
please,
the fact
you're asking me to say, you're asking me, for example, did we consult 100%?
No. I'm asking, there are contenders. The first G7 came to you.
You asked the question.
No, just hold on. Let's put it in perspective for the sake of our viewers tonight. The G7 came to you in the House of Reps and they said they were not consulted. The Deputy Speaker, which is the second most senior member of your party in the House of Reps, said he was not consulted. 3 members who are contesting in the Senate said they were not consulted. Is that fair not to have consulted them?
No, listen. Some of the individuals you've referenced, even within the broader category, have said they were not consulted. What is the meaning of that? Consulted by who? By the NWC? Or consulted by, the team of leaders who were involved in this process? See, no, Shehu, you are asking this question. I think that's the context in which you are taking this point. That every single one of the members of that group or of aspirants or even the entire elected members of the National Assembly should have been consulted. That is not the way it works. Whether before, during, or after such a decision is made. When you do primaries, for example, you do consultations. But nobody says that it must be universal, that every single person must be consulted. But that's also not to say that there was no consultation.
But
as the question is suggested,
the NWC,
that's not how it
does the NWC see that there's a possible misstep? Because the national chairman says, they've listened, there's a possible review. Is there a possibility?
See, even if every single one of the aspirants and every single one of the elected members of the National Assembly were individually consulted, even if they still will have a right to demand review and to demand further consultation. Consultation is not, an activity. It's a process. It's a program. And that's what the party is saying. And that's why we said that we will continue to engage in consultations, with respect to this decision. Because until the final moment, the goal is to actually try to persuade the very last senator, member of the House, to, accept or go with the party. Now, by the way, the party is a democratic institution. This statement could have been written in other language, but we're being very attentive and sensitive to the situation of every individual, even those you have consulted. If they say, well, you talk to me about it, but I still don't accept, what does that mean? It means you have to continue to engage, continue to consult and give reasons and hopefully get them to that point where you can find common ground.
Mr. Moka, I have the sense that you're trying to defend the mistake of your party without having to realize. Just a moment. Yes. Without having to realize or come to terms with what the members of your party. This is not a problem of the media, because easily you politicians know how to throw things back at the media. These are members of your party saying, yes. These are members of your party accusing your party of not doing the right thing. And you are not coming to terms to realize that your party has picked, members of your party picked hole in your decision. But as the biggest organ of your party, which is the NEC, can the NEC undo this arrangement that was announced by the NWC?
Chairman, I'm not going to go into that.
Is it possible?
Discussion.
Is it possible?
No. First of all, this is not a matter for NEC to discuss. This is zoning. We have elections coming up, in a matter of, a few weeks from now. You don't convene NEC of the party to deal with.
If there is a decision that is threatening the peace of your party, wouldn't the NEC
this is not
go to intervene?
Let's not overstate this, matter.
Really?
Yes.
Should I describe how critical this is for you, Mr. Moka? Maybe because you are on the inside, and some of us who have institutional memory of some of this situation, we might be able to put into perspective. And I'm not going to go too far. I'm not going to go into the days of Umezi, okay? I'll go just as close as the days of the likes of Saraki and the likes of Dogara. And I'll let you know that your party has been beaten in this kind of game. Over and over, it has had problems in this kind of game. And let me draw your attention to this. You have some of the most experienced lawmakers who have now become the president-elect and the vice president-elect. Your party chairman is also a very senior federal lawmaker. And these are people whose experience should come to play. The very first political challenge of your party that the Senate, the president-elect and the vice president-elect will be facing is this very one.
Absolutely.
And this could threaten to the very roots of your party structure. And you think that this is not critical enough?
No, she won't.
It's even affecting the unity of this country. Are you not aware?
She won't.
Are you aware?
Can I answer the question?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So we made an announcement. The language of that announcement by itself was sufficiently clear that we expect these issues to be extremely contentious, as they have always been. You just referenced some of those occasions. There's never been a time when the National Assembly leadership or presiding officer leadership is to be determined without this level of intensity. It is serious business. This is National Assembly, the other arm of government. So you don't go to the discussion of the process for the selection of those who lead that assembly, as though you were a tea party. It's serious business, and we're taking it very seriously. Look, as a matter of fact, I would have thought that the language of that announcement actually, suggested the seriousness with which we viewed the discussion that we were having. Because we were very clear. We said, look, we will continue to talk to our members, hoping that we can get them to, come to that common ground. And we will do that until the vote is taken. If we didn't take it seriously, we would have made an announcement and say, you know what, hey, we're done.
Felix,
we didn't.
Felix,
let me finish.
Yeah.
Because, let me finish, please. And we're doing just that. And it's not just the NWC. As you know, we've hosted, so many groups who have come through to make some of these points. Those who were mentioned in that announcement on their own are working night and day to reach out to their colleagues. People are talking across all of the strands of the party. And that will continue. It's not going to stop tomorrow. It continues until inauguration. That's the nature of the process.
Let's anchor on this note. It is to err is human. And whoever it is, no matter how big or small you are as a human being, the day you realize that it is just okay to make mistakes, your party may have made a mistake. Don't forget that we are coming out of an election that ethnicity and religion was a major issue.
Right.
And members of your party are drawing up this particular matter again, North Central, totally out of the scheme of things. There are 4 presiding officers' role. Out of those 4, 2 positions are taken by one region. And one region is totally left out or in the dark in this matter. And you're bringing back the memory of the campaign issues of the 2023 elections. And these are the issues that a lot of people are saying, if your party is not managing well, could cause further division of the country. A old region, the North Central region, the 6 states in the North Central are feeling vilified and feeling left out of the equation. And your party as a ruling party don't think that this is something to worry about.
I'm surprised you're using some of these words about parties not worried about it.
I'm asking, are you worried about it? It's a question.
No, it's not. You're actually you're almost suggesting that the party is not worried about it.
But it's a fact, isn't it?
See, look, if you're asking a question, I will answer it.
No,
and the question is...
You're contending with the question I asked, and I'm asking again that there are facts in what I've asked you. That these are things that have brought worry. I've had several members of your party sat in that same chair and who have raised this issue.
Look, you know what? I would appreciate if you would just let me finish my thought on this.
Please go ahead. Your final thought.
Look, there's no one in the APC who is not aware or living in the moment that we're in. We're keenly aware of that. And that is... the reason we're taking all of the steps that we have taken and we're, continuing to take to deal with this matter. And as a matter of fact, I think it's also quite early to reach, some of these conclusions, because the issue of zoning it's not just about National Assembly. There's a big picture. The slots and the positions will soon become manifest after inauguration. So you must take the totality of the equity of this conversation. But when you just look at the National Assembly and you say, and I'm not going to go into that conversation. But my final point is that, and this is now speaking to our people. They are aware. They've come through. All of the groups who came and met with the National Working Committee. I'm sure you have seen that there's some, lowering of tempo because we're giving them that space and opportunity to express themselves, and the party is taking them very seriously.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moka. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
It's not difficult for you to explain this issue.
No,
that's okay. It's not out of time.
It's not.
It's Friday. I'll allow you to go ahead and
oh, my goodness.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for having me.